The most dangerous lie you tell isn't the one you tell other people. It's the one you tell yourself every morning when you say, I'm fine, and walk into another day pretending. The most painful kind of loneliness isn't being alone. It's being surrounded by people who love a version of you that doesn't even exist anymore. You've been performing for so long that you've forgotten what your real face looks like. And something inside you is finally too tired to keep up the act. If you've ever felt like a stranger living inside your own life, tap that subscribe button right now and let me show you why your soul has been screaming for so long. You wake up before the alarm. You stare at the ceiling. You count the hours until you can come back to this bed and disappear again. Then you get up. You shower. You put on the face, the one that smiles, the one that says good morning, the one that asks how everyone else is doing while nobody asks you. And you do it all over again, day after day, week after week, year after year. This is the life of an empath who has been pretending to be fine. It looks normal from the outside. It looks productive. It looks calm. But on the inside, it feels like carrying a piano up a staircase that never ends. Carl Jung said that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And maybe that's why you keep running. Because the truth about who you are and what you feel might be too much to face alone. But you're not alone anymore. Not in this moment. Not while these words are reaching you. So let's go deeper than you've ever gone. Let's name the signs that have been hiding in plain sight. Let's pull them out of the dark and finally look at them in the light. Because once you see them, you can never go back to pretending. The first sign is something you've felt your entire life but never had words for. You feel the room before you understand it. You walk into a space and your body tells you everything before your mind catches up.
A tightness in your chest, a heaviness behind your eyes,
A strange urge to leave. You don't know why. You just know something is off. And 9 times out of 10, you find out later that you were right. This is not paranoia. This is not anxiety. This is the gift of an empath. You read energy the way other people read books. But here's the problem. Nobody taught you what to do with what you read. So you absorb it. You take it home. You sleep with it. You wake up with it. And little by little, all of that energy that was never yours becomes the weight you can't shake. Did that just hit something deep inside you? If you've ever felt heavy for no reason at all, subscribe and hit the bell, because what I'm about to say next will change how you see yourself forever. The second sign is one of the quietest forms of suffering. You give people the love you wish someone would give you. You text first. You check in. You remember birthdays. You send the long messages.
You show up when nobody asks you to. You give and give and give.
And somewhere deep down, you're hoping that if you give enough, it will come back to you. That someone will finally notice. That someone will finally pour into your cup the way you've poured into theirs. But it rarely comes back. And every time it doesn't, a small piece of you grows quiet. You stop expecting. You stop hoping. You start telling yourself that you don't need anything, that you're the giver, that you're the strong one, that you're the one who doesn't fall apart. But that's the lie. That's the mask. Because underneath all of that giving is a person who is starving to be received. The third sign is something you do without even realizing it. You explain yourself constantly. You say sorry before you even speak. You over-explain why you canceled. You over-explain why you're upset. You over-explain why you need space. You feel like you have to justify your existence to everyone around you.
Like you have to earn the right to take up room in the world. Like your feelings need permission slips signed by everyone else before they're allowed to exist. This didn't start yesterday. This started a long time ago. Maybe when you were a child and someone made you feel like your feelings were inconvenient. Maybe when you cried and someone told you to stop. Maybe when you needed comfort and got silence instead. You learned that your inner world was a burden, so you started carrying it quietly, and you've been carrying it quietly ever since. Are you tired of explaining yourself to people who never even tried to understand you? Subscribe and hit that bell if you want more truths that finally make sense of the way you feel. The fourth sign goes even deeper. You feel guilty when good things happen to you. Someone gives you a compliment and you deflect it. Someone offers to help and you refuse. Someone tries to love you and a part of you pulls away. You don't know why. You just know that receiving feels uncomfortable, like you don't deserve it, like there must be a catch, like the universe is going to take it back the moment you let yourself enjoy it. This is the empath's hidden wound. You've spent so long being the giver that receiving feels foreign. You've spent so long earning love that being loved freely feels like a trap. And so you sabotage it. You push people away. You shrink. You disappear. You convince yourself that you're better off alone. But you're not better off alone. You're just terrified of being seen. Because being seen means being known. And being known means risking the kind of pain you've spent your whole life avoiding. Jung wrote about the shadow self, the parts of us we hide because we believe they make us unlovable. For empaths, the shadow often holds the truth of how much you actually need, how much you actually want, how much you actually deserve. And until you turn around and face that shadow, it will keep running your life from the dark. The fifth sign is one of the most exhausting. You can't turn your mind off. Even when your body is still, your mind is sprinting, replaying conversations, decoding facial expressions, worrying about people who haven't thought about you all day, wondering if you said the wrong thing, wondering if they're mad, wondering if you should have done more, wondering if you're enough, wondering, always wondering. This is what happens when you spend your life reading everyone else. You become so focused on the outside world that you lose touch with your own inner one. You don't know what you think anymore. You don't know what you want anymore. You only know what other people seem to need from you. And that's the loneliest place an empath can live, inside a mind that never rests, in a body that never gets to come home. Does this sound like you, or like someone you love? Share this video with them and subscribe for more truths that hit straight in the heart. The sixth sign will make you stop and breathe. You feel emotions you don't recognize as your own. You're driving home from work and suddenly you feel sad and you don't know why. You're sitting in a coffee shop and suddenly you feel anxious and there's no reason. You're hugging a friend and suddenly you feel angry and it's not your anger. This is what empaths do. We pick up frequencies the way radios pick up signals. We feel what's around us. We feel what's underneath what people say. We feel the things they're hiding, even from themselves. The problem is that nobody handed you an instruction manual, so you assume all of these feelings are yours. You carry them like they belong to you. You let them shape your mood. You let them ruin your day. You let them keep you up at night. And meanwhile, the people whose feelings you absorbed are sleeping peacefully because you took the weight off of them and onto yourself. You are not crazy. You are not unstable. You are not overreacting. You are sensing. You are receiving. You are picking up on what's actually happening underneath the polite surface of the world. And that sensitivity is not a malfunction. It's a frequency. The trick is learning when to tune in and when to turn it off. The seventh sign is the one that finally breaks the spell. You feel a deep ache for something you can't name. It comes in waves, in quiet moments, in long drives, in the seconds before sleep. It's a kind of longing that has no object, a homesickness for a place you've never been, a grief for a life you haven't lived. You don't know what it is, you just know it's there, and you've been trying to ignore it for years. That ache is your soul. That ache is the real you trying to get your attention. That ache is every part of yourself that you've abandoned over the years to keep other people comfortable. It's the dreams you stopped dreaming, the art you stopped making, the voice you stopped using, the truth you stopped telling. It's all of it, waiting patiently for you to finally come back. Have you been ignoring that ache for too long? Subscribe and drop a yes in the comments if you can feel what I'm talking about right now. Let's go even deeper than the 7 signs. Let's talk about what living like this actually does to you. Because pretending to be fine is not free. It costs something every single day. It costs your sleep. It costs your peace. It costs your health. It costs your relationships. And eventually, if you don't stop, it costs you yourself. You start to forget what makes you happy. Not in a poetic way, in a real way. Someone asks you what you love and your mind goes blank. Someone asks you what you want to do this weekend and you can't think of a single thing. Because for years, your wants have come last. For years, your joy has been an afterthought. For years, you've been so busy being what everyone else needs that you've lost touch with what you actually like. You start to feel numb. Not sad, not angry, not even tired. Just flat. Food tastes like nothing. Music sounds like background noise. Conversations feel like rehearsed scripts. Your favorite places stop feeling like yours. This is what emotional suppression does over time. When you bury enough of your feelings, you bury the good ones too. The numbness isn't the absence of pain, it's the cost of pretending. You start to feel a strange kind of resentment. You don't want to feel it, you hate that you feel it, but it's there. A quiet bitterness toward the people who keep taking from you. A quiet anger at the world for not noticing how much you give. You feel guilty for feeling it. You push it down. You smile harder. You give more. But the resentment doesn't go away. It just goes underground. And underground anger is the most dangerous kind because it eats you instead of expressing itself. Do you recognize this pattern in your own life? Subscribe right now and tell me your story in the comments, because every single one of you deserves to be heard. Now let's talk about why this happened to you. Because you didn't choose this. You didn't wake up one day and decide to abandon yourself. It was taught to you, slowly, subtly, through 1,000 small moments that added up over time. Maybe you grew up in a home where one parent was unstable and you became the peacekeeper. You learned to scan the room before you walked in. You learned to manage everyone else's moods to protect your own safety. Maybe you were the sensitive child in a family that didn't understand sensitivity. You cried, and they laughed. You felt, and they called you dramatic. You spoke up, and they told you to be quiet. You learned that being yourself was dangerous.
So you became someone else. The agreeable one. The easy one. The one who didn't make waves. And that child is still inside you. Still trying to stay safe. Still believing that being yourself will cost you love. Maybe you had a relationship that broke something in you. Someone who made you feel like your needs were too much. Someone who got angry every time you tried to be honest. Someone who taught you that silence was safer than truth. And ever since then, you've been carrying that silence into every room you walk into. Even into rooms full of people who would actually love the real you if you let them see her. This is why you pretend. Not because you're weak, not because you're fake, but because somewhere along the way, the world made you believe that the real you wasn't welcome. And you adapted. You survived. You did what every empath does. You became what they needed so they wouldn't leave. But now you're an adult.
And the people you're still performing for are mostly in your head. That's the part nobody tells you. The performance keeps going long after the audience leaves. You keep editing yourself for ghosts. You keep shrinking for people who aren't in your life anymore. You keep silencing your truth for voices that stopped speaking years ago. The pretending becomes the personality. And one day you wake up and realize you don't know who you are without it. Is this why you've been feeling so exhausted lately? Subscribe and let me know in the comments, because what comes next
is the part that changes everything. Here's where the story turns. Here's where you stop being the prisoner of your own kindness and start becoming something the world has never seen before. A fully expressed empath. A soft heart with strong boundaries. A deep feeler who doesn't drown. A giver who finally knows how to receive. This is who you were always meant to be. And the path back to her starts right now.
The first step is the hardest. You have to admit that you're not fine. Not to the world, not to social media, not to anyone you have to perform for. Just to yourself, in the quiet. Out loud or in writing or whispered in the dark. You have to say the words, I'm not okay. I haven't been for a long time, and I'm done pretending. Because nothing changes until the truth gets oxygen, and the truth has been suffocating inside you for years. The second step is to give yourself permission to feel without explaining. You don't have to know why you're sad. You don't have to justify why you're angry. You don't have to apologize for crying. Feelings are not problems to solve. They are messages to receive. The moment you stop interrogating your emotions and start listening to them, they stop screaming. Because every feeling you've ever buried was just trying to tell you something, and the only thing it ever wanted was to be heard. The third step is to start protecting your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You don't owe everyone access to you. You don't owe every text an immediate reply. You don't owe every invitation a yes. You don't owe every person an explanation for why you need space. Your energy is the most valuable thing you have, and empaths who don't protect it become empaths who burn out. Every single time. Have you been giving your energy to people who never asked how you are? Subscribe and hit the bell because I'm about to give you the part that brings everything together. The fourth step is to grieve who you had to be to survive. This is the part most people skip. They want to jump straight to healing. They want to become the new version of themselves without honoring the old one. But you can't move forward while you're still ashamed of who you were. The people pleaser, the overgiver, the one who said yes when she meant no. She wasn't weak. She was doing her best with what she had. She was keeping you alive. Thank her, bless her, lay her down gently, and then walk forward without her. The fifth step is to surround yourself with people who can hold your truth. Not everyone in your life right now is built for the real you, and that's okay. You don't have to cut them off. You just have to stop showing them the parts of you they can't handle. Save your depth for people who can swim in it. Save your honesty for people who won't punish you for it. Save your softness for people who treat it like the gift it is. Your circle should feel like sanctuary, not like a stage. The sixth step is to learn the difference between empathy and absorption. You can care without carrying. You can love without losing yourself. You can feel someone's pain without making it your own. This is the skill no one teaches empaths. We grow up thinking that to love deeply means to merge completely. But that's not love. That's losing. Real love keeps two souls intact. Real love says, I see your pain and I'm here, but I am still me and you are still you. The seventh step is the one that will set you free. You have to stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Permission is never coming. The people you're waiting for don't have the authority to give it. Only you do. Only you can decide that today is the day you stop apologizing for your sensitivity. Only you can decide that today is the day you start trusting your own feelings. Only you can decide that today is the day you come home to yourself. Does this resonate so deeply that you can feel it in your bones? Subscribe and drop your story below, because your voice is part of the wave that's waking everyone up. Now imagine what your life looks like on the other side of pretending. You wake up and you actually feel rested.
Not because nothing is hard, but because you've stopped carrying things that aren't yours. You walk into rooms and you stay rooted in yourself instead of dissolving into everyone else. You hear what people say, but you don't take it on.
You feel what they feel, but you don't let it become you. You are present without being porous. You start saying things you've never said out loud. No, I can't do that this week. No, I don't have the energy. No, that doesn't work for me. And every no makes your yes mean more. Every boundary makes your love feel safer. Every honest word makes your relationships realer. You stop attracting people who use you. You start attracting people who appreciate you. The shift is so quiet you almost miss it. But one day you look around and realize the people in your life actually see you now. You start sleeping different, deeper, heavier, like your nervous system finally believes it's safe to rest. You start eating different, slower, with attention, like food is for you and not just fuel between obligations. You start laughing different, louder, from your belly, like you forgot how good it felt to actually be amused. The small things start coming back to life, And you realize how dead you'd been for how long. You start to feel something you haven't felt in years. Yourself. The real one. The one underneath all the noise. The one who has been waiting patiently for you to come back. She's still there. She always was. She didn't die. She just went quiet. And the moment you start listening, she starts speaking. And what she has to say will change your entire life. This is the empath becoming sovereign. This is the soft soul with hard edges. This is the deep feeler who finally knows when to dive in and when to come up for air. This is you, fully expressed, fully present, fully alive. And the world has been waiting for this version of you for a long time. The world needs empaths who have stopped pretending. The world needs people who feel without apology and love without losing themselves. Has this video made something inside you shift? Subscribe and share it with someone who is still pretending because they don't yet know they have permission to stop. There's one last thing you need to hear before this is over. The pretending was never the problem. The pretending was the survival strategy of a heart that knew the world wasn't safe for it yet. So don't hate the person who pretended. Don't be angry at her for keeping you small. She was protecting something precious. She was protecting you. And now that you're strong enough to protect yourself, she can finally lay down her armor and rest. You are not too sensitive. You were the right amount of sensitive for a world that needed someone to feel deeply. You are not too emotional. You were the right amount of emotional for people who needed someone to remind them they were human. You are not too much. You were exactly enough. And the people who couldn't handle you were not your judges. They were your filter. They were the universe sorting out who deserved a seat at your table and who didn't. Your sensitivity is not your wound. It's your wisdom. Your softness is not your weakness. It's your strength. Your emotions are not your enemies. They are your guides. Every tear you've ever cried was wisdom asking to be witnessed. Every ache you've ever felt was your soul trying to lead you home. And now, finally, you're listening. Now, finally, you're answering the call. So tonight, when you lie down in bed, put your hand on your chest. Feel your heart beating. That heart has carried you through every moment of pretending, every smile that hurt, every word you swallowed, every feeling you buried. Thank that heart. Promise that heart that the pretending ends here. Not perfectly, not all at once, but starting now. One honest moment at a time. One real word at a time. One protected piece of energy at a time. The next time someone asks how you are, take a breath and tell the truth. Even if it's just one true sentence. even if it shakes, even if it disappoints them. Because every true sentence you speak is a brick you take out of the wall between you and yourself. And one day soon, the wall will be low enough for you to step over. And on the other side will be your real life. The one that was always waiting. The one you were born for. You are an empath who has been pretending. And the pretending is over. Not because someone gave you permission, but because you finally gave it to yourself. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not too soft. You are powerful. You are perceptive. You are sovereign. And you are coming home. If this video made you feel something, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more videos that actually understand you.